Alright, so this is a NOVEDUCATION podcast.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to NOVEDUCATION. As always, I am your host, Noved. Thank you for tuning in. It is Monday, June the 20th. Happy Juneteenth. Happy late Father's Day. Hope everybody had a safe and fun weekend. And happy Father's Day to all the moms who stepped in. You know what I'm saying? Everybody be like, oh, it's not your day. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up. Now, but I hope everybody had a safe and fun weekend. If my voice sounds a little bit different, there's two things that you need to know. One, I am under the weather yet again. I know my body's been going through this bullshit. I'm under the weather, but it's all good. Took my COVID test, negative. It's just the common cold, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because it gets too hot. And then you step into an AC room, you know what I'm saying? Air conditioned room. So, and if y'all know, all my allergy people out there, if you get the slightest bit of cold, you know, everything starts acting up. You know, you get the itchy throat. You get the fucking stuffy, runny nose. You get the deep, itchy eyes, the clogged ears, the cough, everything, bro. I hate that shit. I do not wish these allergies upon my worst enemy, but that's one thing. That's one reason why my voice sounds a little bit different. Another would be because I am speaking through a new microphone, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking through the new to me Rode Pod microphone. I think it's a great microphone. It's has a good build. I recommend it to everybody who's trying to do their podcasts or any type of voice type of thing. I don't recommend it for music. I try to, play a little, but it's still good. It's a good microphone, but it was given to me by the Basement Dweller podcast. I entered a giveaway and I won. And they sent me this Rode Pod mic. So shout out to the Basement Dweller. Shout out to the Basement Dweller themselves. If y'all can do me a favor, go ahead and follow them, subscribe, leave a comment on their YouTube channel, IG, Spotify. Leave a comment, let them know Noved Ortiz sent you. But yeah, if you can subscribe to me too on YouTube, Noved Ortiz, at Noved Ortiz on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Noved Ortiz for Apple Music, iTunes. Yes, we got new music coming on the way. 5 a.m. beats of myself, got some shit cooking up, but obviously right now I can't. It's hard for me to record a little bit, but so I'm gonna be doing like a little. Every time I need to cough, I'll be pressing this little mute button right here, like. So if you'll hear the music in the background. But thank you for tuning in. Shout out to my boy Victor the Guru at Victor93Till. Happy Father's Day to him. He's a good pops as well. Shout out to my boy at Satan Uncensored on Instagram. Both you can follow him on Instagram. Shout out to the Dead Space Entertainment. We had some UFC fights, a fight night in Austin this weekend. It was a good fucking card, man. It had everything you wanted inside of a fucking UFC event. You had the knockouts, you had submissions, you had octagon drama. The main fight, Calvin Kattar versus Josh Emmett, that fight was dope. It was fight of the night. Big implications for that fight. That fight had some big implications. Calvin Kattar couldn't get it done, but it was close. I did not see Josh Emmett coming out like that, but he came out, and I do think he won. I don't think Kattar got robbed. A lot of people are saying that these close fights now that people getting robbed. Hey, you need to look at it again. Maybe again. Look at it twice. But one of the fights I was really excited for was to see Kevin the Trailblazer Holland versus Tim by any means, bro. If you're looking to get into the UFC, you're not too sure, you have, your doubts, you don't really have a fighter to cling on to. I suggest, you grab onto that Kevin Holland train, man. He doesn't necessarily have the biggest hype right now. I mean, and outside of the sport, but his stock is rising, bro. Especially after this fight, his stock rose in my book. He's looking good in that welterweight division. So if you're looking to get into the UFC, like, in the MMA world, I think Kevin Holland is one of those fighters you could get into. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Holland, Sean Strickland. Shout out to Sean Strickland. That's my girl's boy. Yeah, man. I think there's just some fighters that you can. Chito Vera. I think Marlon Chito Vera is one of those fighters you could just cling on to right now. Obviously, Khamzat Chimaev, fucking rocket. But yeah, Kevin Holland, man, he's a fucking beast, man. I think he's gonna be the next star coming up. So if you want to get into the UFC, I think right now he's a good fighter to start to cling on and follow that train up. But we also were supposed to have the Cowboy Cerrone versus Joe Lauzen fight. As you know, the last pay-per-view card, they were supposed to be on that fight. But then Donald Cerrone, he got the food poisoning, I believe. Excuse me, he got the food poisoning. And it sucked to see that because he took a lot of time off. And, he looked good. His spirits were high. And then it was going to be the first fight where his son had seen him live. So that was cool. It was a cool moment. But then he got the stomach flu. So then they moved it to this fight, to the UFC Fight Night, which is not necessarily an upgrade, but it was a good card. And going into it, I was excited to see this fight because this was basically a win. If you win, you're in. If you lose, you're out of the UFC. Basically what it was. Unfortunately, they could not get it popping because Joe Lauzen, I believe, I want to say, he had an ACL tear in his knee or something. He couldn't put pressure on it. I don't know, but it seems to me that this fight's not going to happen. And it seems to me, that's it. Like, it was supposed to be a quick in or out fight, and there's too much drama around it now. I think it's not going to happen. What I think that should happen for Cowboy Cerrone, I believe he has one more fight in his contract. I'm not sure how his contract is, but there's someone else in that division who has one fight in that contract. I think you should start thinking about Nate Diaz. Look, man, I know everybody's waiting for that that Nate Diaz Conor McGregor trilogy, but let's review the facts. Let's look at the facts right here. Conor McGregor is probably not going to. He's probably going to come back earliest the end of the season, maybe the end of the year, maybe, and that's if he even wants to go to 170. Nate Diaz wants to fight now, and let's be real, he's not going to be on the shelf for that long. But also, you're not going to make him out to be a sacrificial lamb to a guy like Khamzat Chimaev or Gilbert Burns, Masvidal, you know what I'm saying? Kevin Holland would be a good fight. But then again, I don't know if that would be a sacrificial lamb type of situation. But I think Nate Diaz versus Cerrone, I think that's be a good fight, both in the back ends of the career. And, Nate Diaz has this one more fight on his contract. That's the big thing about it. I say do it. Finish this out. Don't be a sacrificial lamb. Go out with a good fight, with a good, well-known fighter in Cowboy. Both can bring the pay-per-view. Both can bring, that big money. I don't think Kevin Holland has that big outside of the UFC hype right now. I think Cowboy and Nate do. I think they bring it up. And if Conor does end up coming back, let's say by the end of the year or next year, wants to fight somebody, and then the hype is there for the Nate Diaz trilogy, sign Nate Diaz for a one big fight contract. I know Dana will probably not do that, but if the money's there, and definitely the Nate Diaz army is going to back him up. Those pay-per-view money, those pay-per-views, it's going to be there for Nate Diaz. You know what I'm saying? I think, he backs that shit up. But that's what I think should happen. I don't think you throw him to, like a Bilal Muhammad, Burns, Khamzat, Masvidal, Holland. I think Cowboy would be a good fight. I think that would be a great fight. But over here stuck. We're waiting for the July 2nd, man. The Adesanya versus Cannonier or Cannonier, however you want to say it. Volkanovski, Holloway, Strickland, Pereira. I forget how you say his name. That's going to be a good card. We'll talk about that soon, of course. You know what I'm saying? But we also had the NBA Finals finally over. The NBA Finals. Shout out to the Golden State Warriors. Shout out to my boy Victor the Guru. I believe earlier he called it the earliest, right? I believe he called it the earliest, right, Vic? I believe he called it Game 6, Warriors in 6. He called it the earliest. I originally had Warriors in 5, but then At game 3, I believe, is when I switched it up to Warriors in 6. And then the Monday before the game 5, I said, yeah, Warriors are winning it through. So takes, they came to fruition, and pretty cool, pretty hype about that. Now we could all start focusing on some NFL. Nah, but if you want to come on and talk about, some MLB, drop some MLB knowledge, some Masters knowledge, some, soccer knowledge, hit me up. Let me know. I'm always open to that, man. I'm always open for a guest, so let me know. But Kendrick Perkins had recently came out, with a tweet saying that, if you guys saw my video, tweet saying that Steph Curry belongs at that GOAT table, with all the GOATs. And a few months back, there was or I think it was last year, there was a picture of SportsCenter asking him the question, how many championships does Steph win in the next 4 to 5 years? And he put 0. He was really prominent on that 0, you know what I'm saying? And people called him out on that. But I got to say this, look, man, if you got to take, you know what I'm saying? If you got to take that you truly believe, I call it, the dying hill. You want to die on that hill, homie? You die on that hill. Don't put 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Maybe not. Because then that makes you look like a fucking bandwagon, If you got to take that you believe in, go all in on it. I'm always a big believer on that. I've had takes where I've been wrong, and I've had takes, majority of my takes are right. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of them, sometimes they're wrong, and I own up to it. I admit when I'm wrong. I get backlash from the boys all the time. But I suggest, you admit when you're wrong, and you go all in on your takes, because why else are we doing this? But his GOAT table is Steph Curry. Does he belong at that GOAT table? What do you guys think? Let me know. I'm about to tell you right now. I don't think he's at that GOAT table yet. But I think he's knocking on that goddamn door. I think he's knocking on that goddamn door, ladies and gentlemen. He's right there. He is right there. I hate this whole narrative of, maybe it's because of me. I'm a little shorter person. I'm vertically challenged, but they label him as the best small man, the best small player ever. And it's like, what the fuck? I don't know. Maybe that's just the short in me. That's just the short player in me. But he's top 3 point guard all time. Best shooter of all time. He got 4 rings. He's probably going to get at least 1 more by the end of his career. He got a finals MVP. But I think the people at home, and myself included, feel like he had a lot of help, to where when he didn't have that help, he didn't really get it done. But mind you, the end, they say, oh, well, he went to the playoffs. No, he didn't. When it was only him and Draymond, no, he didn't. The NBA made a whole new thing up, and I still say this to this day, just for Steph Curry, just for LeBron James, the play-in game. They needed one of these big stars in the playoffs for the ratings, and so they made a play-in game. But this damn near puts Steph right there. I know people, they don't want to put him over Magic. I'm not putting him over Magic. Not putting him over Jordan. Not putting him over Bron, Kobe, Kareem. I might put him over Bird. Maybe. And that's where that conversation lies. That's where that debate lies. That Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, middle. That's where that gray area is, where Steph is at right now. Do you think Steph Curry belongs at the GOAT table? Time will tell. I think he'll get there. I think he will get there, but as of right now, I say he's knocking on the door. What do you guys think? The Warriors, they have a good, you got to give it up to them. They have a good dynasty going on right there now. This is the Warriors dynasty. You got to give it up to them. We give it up to the Lakers dynasties, Boston dynasties, Spurs dynasties. you know. I don't know if you want to call that Miami Heat dynasty, but the dynasty of the Miami. But now you got to give it up to Steve Kerr and that Golden State dynasty. Stuck with it with their 3 core players. No, they went through their rebuild, their process. They got their highs with KD, went their lows with the injuries to Clay. Stuck through it, drafted right, molded the players right, that winning mentality inside that arena, the Oracle Arena. You got to give it up to that Warriors dynasty, man. You give the Bulls credit, of course. People say that's the best, but they're right there. They got to be right there. So I got to give props to that Warriors dynasty, Steve Kerr, all of them. Then you got the whole Draymond situation. Now, Draymond, y'all know I'm not a big Draymond. Y'all know I'm not a big Draymond fan. I don't know him personally. He seems like a great dude, but on the court, it is what it is. Y'all know how I feel about that. But for him to go on these little rants, his Draymond Green rants, it's like, come on. Come on, bro. Just be happy with what player you are. You know what I'm saying? You're one of the best role players to ever play the game. And he acts like, we're not, as a fan base, as the NBA goes, as far as the NBA goes, that we're not giving him the credit that he deserves. But I feel like we're giving you more credit. You know what I'm saying? When Steph and Clay were out, where was you? I'm not saying you're the best offensive player, but the buckets, that's all the game has been about, buckets. And the simple, clear fact is that the game always will be about buckets. If you can't score buckets, you ain't going to be in that top tier. Now, players who have been in that top tier, who don't score buckets, have realized where they are in that position, where they are on their teams. Y'all know I'm going with this. Dennis Rodman. People want to compare them to. Okay, go ahead and compare them to. But even Dennis Rodman knew what player he was to that Bulls team. I think the Warriors could have won a lot more if Draymond had accepted that role a little bit earlier. I think he's a cause for a lot of their losses. He's a cause for a lot of their downs. So for him to go on these little rants, hey man, I get it. You won. You got 4. I get it. You got 4. But let's not kid ourselves. This wasn't you, my boy. This wasn't you. It's not you. What do you guys think about the little Draymond rants? He seems like a good guy off the court. But as far as on the court and what he feels like he deserves, come on, my boy. Come on. But Boston, on the other side of Boston, Jason Tatum, man, he didn't show up that last game. And I know the odds was against him, but you could have forced a game 7. Y'all could have forced a game 7. Y'all could have forced a game 7. And if you were a championship team, that's where you need to define yourself. How were you when your back was against the wall? When you were up against everything, how did you respond? Is Jason Tatum a superstar? Not yet. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. That game 6 proved to me that he's not a superstar yet. Look, man, I love Jason Tatum because, he's a great player. He has all the talent to be a superstar. Don't get me wrong. He has all the talent in a superstar to be a superstar. But when you go out the way you went out, you basically lost the game. You basically gave the game up to the Warriors. You could have forced a game 7. Or not even if you lost the game. At least put up a little bit more of a fight. Now, granted though, he is very young. Very young. And to get these NBA Finals experience at a very young age, woo. This is about to be the longest offseason for Jason Tatum, but people are going to wonder how you're going to respond next season. Hey, I think he'll respond. I think he'll respond. I think Jaylen Brown's nice. Marcus Smart's nice. You had the whole Horford. He was showing out. But your stars got to show up, my boy. And Jason Tatum just didn't show out. So Boston's future, do I think they needed someone else? Yes. I think that there needs to be someone else on that team who could facilitate games, who could control the tempo, who could see the game from an outside perspective and say, well, let's hold on. Let's do this. We're playing their game, and that's too many times in this playoffs I've seen Boston play the opposing team's game. Too many times. Even in the Brooklyn series, even though they swept them, they were just playing their game. The Milwaukee series, playing their game. Miami series, playing their game. And I said, they have a chance to win it all. But if you start doing that up against Golden State, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And lo and behold, it didn't work. But the Laker fan in me is happy, but the basketball fan is not happy in me because I did want to see Jason Tatum win. I just didn't want to see Boston win. But what are your guys' thoughts? What are your thoughts on these NBA Finals going forward? I know today in the morning there was this whole Kyrie thing going on in Brooklyn. Laker fans, we might get Kyrie. Let's hold on. Let's hold on. What do you guys think about these NBA Finals first? We're fresh. We're fresh off it. What do you guys think? Does Steph deserve to be at that GOAT table? Are the Warriors a top 5 dynasty? Where does their dynasty rank? What do you guys think about Draymond Green's rants and Boston's future? What do you think going forward for Jason Tatum and Boston Celtics? What do you think is their future? It's too early to say that the Warriors are going to run it back. I'm not going to say that. I know a lot of people are saying that because of how young they are and how good their young players played, the experience. But I'm not going to say that. But this past weekend, I was feeling a little bit under the weather. Like I said, I stood home. I could have gone to, a little pool parties, could have gone to a couple barbecues, could have gone to Knott's Berry Farm. But I stayed home. Took my lozenges, drink my teas. Shout out to my girl for sending me some remedies. Love you. Appreciate you. If I can, I'll stay away from medicines. If I can help it, I'll stay away from medicines. But, sometimes that NyQuil will be calling, you know what I'm saying? So I was home all weekend. And what I did, it's like people were telling me to watch Stranger Things, watch this. I was kind of watching some of the Love, Death, and Robots, and I tried to get into a lot of these things. I tried to, but I got ESPN Plus. And so I was just scrolling trying to find maybe something to watch over the weekend. And what I did end up finding was, oh shit, I have not watched The Man in the Arena yet. The Tom Brady documentary. That shit was dope. It gives you a little bit more of an insight and appreciation of the man that is Tom Brady and the teams and the way he developed and how he's seen the league change and he still remained dominant. One constant thing was just winning and never giving up. I'll give this documentary a 9 out of 10. I think it was very, very well put together. It was dope. It was dope just to see, him being drafted and then, how he's talking about what he was going through, certain players in the eras that he lived through, key players, key moments. They had the whole how he started off his career winning the Super Bowl against the Rams, and then his last Super Bowl win with the Patriots was against the new Rams. You know what I'm saying? And it gives you a little bit more of an appreciation of the man that is Tom Brady, the GOAT. There's a couple times where I'm like, it's a little bit slow times, but that's the whole family things. And of course, you're going to have a documentary about any type of player, anybody. Those things are going to have to be in it. But those were the little slow times, kind of just, skip the 10 seconds, whatever, maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds. But once you see him start breaking down the games and, start talking about, Belichick and the game plan and, you know, you seen in there's games that you've seen live, and you go back to the moment, you're thinking like, what the fuck? This is this. But then how they break it down, and it's a whole story, it's a whole arc to the game, and what happens, and everything that goes through it. You know, you have players talking on behalf of Tom Brady, like Vince Wilfork, Julian Edelman, you know, Gronkowski, all these players, Rodney Harrison, you know, and it was dope. I think it was a dope series. I think people forgot about it a little bit, but you know, if you want to binge watch something, you know, if you're a sports fan, go ahead and binge watch The Man in the Arena, bro. I approve that. I approve that message right there. But anyways, nice little segue from the Man in the Arena. You know, going into the football. Today we still have the fantasy implications by division. Today we will be doing the AFC West, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get into some fantasy. Get some NFL news real quick. We got Lamar Jackson says he's talked contract with the Ravens and expects to remain in Baltimore for the rest of his career. But then there's another video out there saying like, oh, is he going to be on the field for week 1? Excuse me. And he's like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I think it's just, just giving people to talk about, stories to talk about. At the end of the day, the contract's going to get done, bro. Lamar Jackson is going to be the guy as far as being the whole career. I think he could spend his whole career with Baltimore. That offense is perfect for him. The coaching system is perfect for him. And he's a great player. He's a great quarterback. I think he's great. He deserves to be there. Another one of the updates was that the Browns were willing to cover half of Baker Mayfield's salary to help facilitate a trade. And that tells me, hey, motherfucker, we want this motherfucker out of here. We'll even help you guys. We'll get half the cost. We'll pay for him half of his cost. You don't even need to get him at a discount. Panthers, make a move. Houston, make a move. You know, I'm a big Davis Mills guy. Make a move. Washington, make a move. I think Washington will be great. Seattle, make a fucking move. There's something to be said when teams don't want to go after you when you're at half price. Now, do I think Baker is the best quarterback? No. Hell no. I know my boy Mikester, he says that Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Stafford. That's one of his dying hill takes. But he's still better than Drew Lock. He's still better than Sam Darnold. I think he's right there just with Carson Wentz, maybe better. He's at that Trubisky level, you know what I'm saying? So for the Browns to come out and say that, I think there's some teams that should hop on that discount, you know what I'm saying? And then an anonymous coach told Jeff Fowler that the Patriots quarterback Mac Jones was way too protected in the Patriots offense last season. I honestly don't know what the fuck that means. I'm going to be real. I do not know what the fuck that means by them saying that. But, yeah, man, I do think that he has to be protected because you know why? He is not a mobile quarterback. He's not the type of quarterback you want to just throw out there in a run option, you know what I'm saying? This is a hard-nosed quarterback systems coach. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be in that pocket. He needs to be protected. So to say that he was too protected tells me that they were looking only for the protection on the line, which is, come on, let's be real. When you have a young quarterback and he's going to be your next franchise quarterback, the first thing you want to get is the protection. Now, I know the Bengals didn't do that, and the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. They got their studs. I get it. But that's not the Bill Belichick's way of doing things. You know what I'm saying? That's not that culture right there. So for the anonymous coach to come out and say that doesn't really make sense. But if it tells me one thing, it tells me that they wanted to go after some bigger names, like some bigger receivers, running backs, maybe even a tight end, maybe more better tight end. Go after aggressively in the draft with a better receiver. But they chose to protect their quarterback. I'm not opposed to that, but I get it. But now, I know y'all been waiting for this. And we got 2 more divisions to cover, ladies and gentlemen. Today we will be covering the fantasy football implications for the AFC West. Some say the toughest division. Some say the best division, especially some say the most fantasy valued division. I would agree right now. I would agree. Next we'll be talking about the NFC West. And then we'll be getting into our fantasy, our fantasy football episodes later on down the road. Because pencil season is almost over. People are, they're putting their keepers in. Rookie drafts have been started. Dynasty drafts have been started. Redrafts are about to start. They're getting worked up, you know what I'm saying? Fantasy football season is almost upon us. But all right. So the Denver Broncos, ladies and gentlemen. Denver Broncos, key free agent additions. And of course, I'm getting all my fantasy information right now from thehuddle.com. Shout out to The Huddle. Not a sponsor, but shout out to The Huddle. Quarterback Russell Wilson acquired from the Seattle Seahawks, of course. Big one. Key free agent departures, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, and Noah Fant. Key draft additions, Greg Dulcich in the 3rd round, tight end. I think the winners are definitely here, the pass catchers. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick. I think they're all definitely the winners here. No necessarily losers. I mean, I guess a loser. I don't think there's any losers on the squad. I was going to say Russ, but I still think that that division is going to be a tough division enough to where they have to be passing, scoring points. So I think Russ is still safe. Definitely still safe quarterback. I don't want to call him the loser of this team because there really isn't any. I know that people are big on Javonte Williams. I'm pretty big on Javonte Williams as well, especially in Dynasty. But Melvin Gordon just re-signed, and you saw it was a straight-up 50-50 split in that backfield. So, but they're both pretty consistent, you know what I'm saying? But if there is a time where Javonte is out or Gordon is out, whoever the running back is going to get all that work, and you've seen it last season. So pretty much everybody in that offense is safe. If you want a piece of that offense, KJ Hamler is a nice, deep sleeper for best ball, I think KJ is really underrated, but when you got receivers like Jeudy, Sutton, and Tim Patrick, I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? But all winners here. I think this division is very fantasy potent. You could take your pick with a lot of players here, if you're building up your team. Kansas City Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen. Notable key free agent additions. Ronald Jones, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith. Notable departures. Darrell Williams, Tyreek Hill, Byron Pringle. Notable draft additions, Sky Moore and Isaiah Pacheco. All right. Winners here definitely are 2 winners here for me. I'll say 3 winners. 3 winners for me are Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Kelce, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think all their value goes up just a bump up. Juju, because he's going to be getting a better quarterback, and he's still a young receiver who people forget about. He's not going to be, very, very high ceiling because that target share is going to be going a lot to other receivers, but definitely he's going to get a bump up. Travis Kelce, I was looking to trade him. For big names, you know what I'm saying? For big additions. But now it's ever since Tyreek Hill left, those touchdowns are going to go up for Tyreek. Those targets are going to go up for Tyreek. And the receptions are going to go up for Travis Kelce. I'm sorry. So I think Kelce's a big winner. And with Darrell Williams leaving and Rojo coming in, I think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a big winner here. I know that Rojo was nice. I know Rojo was nice in the run game, but this makes Clyde Edwards-Helaire the running back he was supposed to be, the pass-catching running back, the running back that Darrell Williams was, that was taking his work. You know what I'm saying? I think that CEH is going to have his best season this season, and because they're going to be down in a lot of games. Like I said, this division is going to be putting up a lot of points. They're going to have to be passing. Now, the loser here, I would say, is Patrick Mahomes. That sucks, whatever. Patrick Mahomes, the fuck is best player. I think loser in a sense of where he's going to be drafted, where you picked him up to be, what you spent for him, I think he's not going to give you that value back. You know what I'm saying? Tyreek Hill is a big player, big time player. And if you lose that big time player, those yards, those touchdowns, those in a split second, the game can change with just a 80-yard run by Tyreek or pass by Tyreek, pass from Mahomes. I think all that goes away. You know, he's going to be a consistent player. Don't get me wrong, but the upside, I think the upside is a little bit capped without Tyreek. So winners here, Juju, Travis Kelce, and CEH, and then loser here is Patrick Mahomes. And I think there's some players you should be looking at. You know, MVS is a player that you should be honestly looking at, and Sky Moore is a player who I will be going after in my dynasty draft. So I think Sky Moore is going to be great. But yeah, notable. I think you guys should be careful with how you pick up on these Kansas City Chiefs players. You know what I'm saying? Next, the Las Vegas Raiders, ladies and gentlemen. The Las Vegas Raiders. Key free agent departures. Wide receivers Zay Jones, Hassan Jackson, and Bryan Edwards. Whoop-de-doo. Key free agent additions. Wide receiver Devontae Adams. Key free agent additions from the draft. Key draft additions. Sorry. Running back Zamir White. All right, I think the clear winners here are Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, and Derek Carr. I think the loser here, if you have him in a dynasty, it's obviously Devontae. I think Devontae's a loser here. I think Waller's the loser here. I think their ceilings are capped now. As far as consistency, we don't know how it's going to look for Devontae. We don't know how it's going to be for Waller right now. But we know that Renfrow is going to be very consistent. You know, he just got the contract. We know Derek Carr gets a big fucking weapon in Devontae Adams. And I think Josh Jacobs, that's a run first offense. I think Josh Jacobs is always going to be safe. But Waller, I think he becomes a little bit more consistent, but that big upside is capped. Now, just like in every team I'm going to say in this division, there's going to be a lot of offense points going up against them. So they're going to have to be scoring and passing if they want to keep up. I think the winners, yes, the winners are Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, and Derek Carr. Losers, Devontae Adams, clearly because, when you go from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr, I mean, come on. And then Waller, I think his ceiling is capped, but I think his consistency goes up a little bit. So take with that what you will. Be careful when drafting the Raiders, man. Be careful when drafting the Raiders. Now, finally, the Los Angeles Chargers, man. Los Angeles Chargers. Key free agent additions, Gerald Everett, who I think could be a sleeper, man. Key free agent departures, Justin Jackson and Jared Cook. Key draft additions, running back Isaiah Spiller. And they just got Khalil Mack on the defensive side. So, who are the winners and losers here? All winners on this side. I think Mike Williams. I think Keenan Allen. I think Gerald Everett. I think Austin Eckler. And I think Justin Herbert. I think they're all safe winners here. They're all the upside that you had of last season is still going to be there. Probably with a little bit more upside on Mike Williams. A little bit more upside for Gerald Everett. A little bit more upside for Justin Herbert. Keenan Allen going to be the safest consistent as always. Austin Eckler going to be safe and consistent. And now that you got rid of Justin Jackson, I think he's even more consistent like that. You know what I'm saying? There's no losers on this team. I think the losers maybe if you were in on, I think even if you're in on Josh Palmer, man, I think Josh Palmer could be a good sleeper on best ball. I mean, Josh Palmer is going to be good, but if you're in on him, of course, you might be a little bit of a loser. But if any of these receivers is out, Josh Palmer is the guy, bro. So all winners on this team. I think everybody on this team is safe, pretty consistent floor, except for Mike Williams. You're going to have to roll with that Mike Williams train. Either you're all in or you're all out. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm OUT on Mike Williams, but that does not change the fact that this dude can be a top 5 fantasy wide receiver, even one. You know what I'm saying? He has a skill set to do it. So I think all winners on this side. Now, who do I think is the best team in this division? I think the best team in this division is the Chargers. I think the Chargers are the best team in this division. They're the same. They're consistent. The addition to Khalil Mack, all the injuries they had last season on defense, they're going to be healthy now. I think they're the best team in the division, but it's all pretty much close. You know, you have number 2, I would say the Broncos. Number 3, I would say the Chiefs. Number 4, I would say the Raiders, but it's all close. I know Justin Credible's like, oh, no, what the fuck? I'm a Raider fan. Hey, bro. The thing about the Raiders, too, is that they always have one big wide receiver that goes, and they use the Raiders as a platform. Amari Cooper, you know, Jerry Rice after the Niners, you know, Randy Moss, Antonio Brown, and now Devontae Adams is there, you know, so definitely have the chance to be a better, but I think when you put them all together, you got to go with the quarterbacks first, receivers, running backs, defense, and I think the best of the best is the Chargers right now, you know what I'm saying? So what do you guys think? Who do you guys think is the best team? Who do you guys think are some safe winners, losers on this fantasy division? Next week, we will be doing the NFC West. All my Rams fans, Niners fans, Cardinals fans, Seahawks fans, let me know what y'all think. And then after that, we're going to be getting into some more fantasy stuff, some fantasy outlet stuff. But let me know what y'all think, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. We've been here for a minute. My throat is killing me right now. You can't already hear it. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, follow, rate, review, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys later, guys. Peace.
Alright, so this is a NOVEDUCATION podcast.